Hey, I just want to show you the Shrinkwrap method for shrink wrapping a object to a non-flat surface. And this involves using the Lattice modifier. So I have this object here, which is a circle. I used grid fill to fill it up with all quads. But your object might be different, but this one is good for this test. Now, what I want to do is add a lattice to this. So there's two ways of adding a lattice. So I'm going to go Shift S, cursor to selected. Now, reason it's select. I want to make sure that the origin for this object is on the bottom. And that can be done by going vertex, Shift Z, going to X-ray mode, selecting everything, Shift S, cursor to selected. And then I'm right clicking and set origin to 3D cursor. Now the 3D cursor is there. So if you're using Blender 5, maybe below, I'm not sure, I can't remember when they added this feature, but if you select an object, Shift A, lattice deform selected. And that creates a lattice that fits the dimensions of this object. So that's one way. Exit, delete that lattice. Or you can go Shift A, lattice, and then scale the lattice so it fits the dimensions. And then with this lattice here, you can see it has a third dimension here, but we only want it to be 1. So if we go to lattice, this W, just say 1. And then we want this lattice to be at the very bottom of that object, and it is. Now we want to add some subdivisions to this lattice. So I'm in this lattice object here, and then you click on the data for this lattice, and then you can up the subdivisions. So I'm going to use 16, and this can be changed dynamically based on your object. So you have this going on here now. Now what you want to do is take this object. So I'm going to remove that lattice modifier. So go add modifier, search, lattice. Then either you can use the drop menu, choose the lattice, or you can choose the lattice from here. Doesn't really matter as long as you get the lattice. Now what we want to do is select that object, shift select the lattice, Control P, set parent to object. Now with this lattice selected, you want to kind of bring it down to the surface of the object. And then add modifier to the lattice, search, Shrinkwrap. Choose this object as the Shrinkwrap object. And now your object is shrink wrapping to the surface. And it appears to be working. It will go inside just because of the nature of the resolution of the lattice, resolution of your base object. So if I up the resolution of this base object by going search subdivision surface, and then I can also take my lattice here and then also the resolution of this object. And I could add a subdivision surface modifier to that, but I'd rather not at the moment. And then I can go shade smooth. And there we go. It is shrink wrap to that object. So to reiterate, we add subdivisions to the lattice. We make the lattice only 1 unit high, so it's like a plane. Then we shrink wrap that lattice to this object here. We parent the object to the lattice, doing the Shift select and then Control P to object. And there we go. Hope this helps. Thank you. Bye.